Daddy,
Kobby.
how is everything doing?
Well, you are here, so everything must be good.
Great. Now, so when was your last performance and how did it turn out?
My last performance was at the University of Ghana alumni show.
Because you are one.
Yes, I'm one, yeah. So it turned out pretty well, but it seemed that it wasn't publicized enough. There were not too many people, as I would have expected, if they had publicized it. But a lot of people didn't hear about it. Even a lot of alumni didn't hear about it. Yeah, so that was the real issue there.
Now you are still doing music. Are we going to get to a point where Mr. Ben Brako is going to say, okay, finally I've retired from music?
Yeah, when I die.
So the up and coming artists who are giving up now.
Well, everybody is different, Everybody is different. We're all equal, but everybody is different. That's the beauty of nature, that every single being is different. You understand? Has their own talents, their own, outlook and everything. So some want to retire early. Some wanted to do music, never got into it. It's a whole spectrum.
Nice. So what have you learned from music? I mean, from inception, when you started music professionally to now, what is the beauty? I mean, the beauty of music, musicianship. What have you really learned from being a musician?
I've learned that music cuts deep into people if you have the right message and the right melody. And I've also learned that people can really, really love you and focus on you because you are the source of that music. I've also learned that people tend to interpret your lyrics and your songs from their own perspective. So a lot of times, what they think you're saying, it's not really what you're saying, and it's a parallel, So, but that's the thing, that's the beauty of it. Everybody has their own interpretation, and that's beautiful, and they love it to us,
So, have you had any, controversy around one of your songs that you had your own meanings to it, but people had to, divert it?
No controversy as such, but sometimes we try to speak very deep, and maybe the melody is so nice, people trip off on the melody and don't even get into the lyrics. But that's okay, that's also music, you understand? But I have songs that I've tried to say things, and some of the people who love particular songs, if they knew what I was saying, they might not be so pleased, but then they should be pleased because what I'm saying is deep and true. I think that, you have to enlighten yourself. You have to think, you have to have principles by which you live your life. And I believe that as a man or as a human being, that you have to reflect your origins. You have to respect it because that's what gives you your substance.
Exactly.
Okay? If you are an African and all you want to do is live like an American, of course that's a free choice, okay? But don't forget that culture also determines economy. You understand what I'm saying? So right now, the way we are dressed here, you understand? It benefits who? I'm the only one who's giving some benefit back to the hair. You know what I mean? So how you dress, what you eat, how you entertain yourself, how you do your ceremony, everything is part of your culture. Now, if you assume some other culture, all you are doing is that you are creating a market for them. You understand? That means you don't believe in yourself. That means you undervalue yourself, truly. You're trying to equate to somebody, okay, that's doing their own thing. And you, black monkey, they dress you like it's for a circus or something, and then you are happy because you think you're equal, but you are even better than them. You don't know. If you really knew the truth about yourself, you know that
So now, the point you're trying to make is that, is it that we are trying to copy blindly with regards to music? We're trying to...
in everything, in everything.
Okay, so let's stick to music. Sticking to music, do you think that we are swaying away, we are trying to copy the West too much? We are not sticking to our origin, I mean, the Ghanaian origin, the authentic music that we came to meet?
Well, you see, music is dynamic, you know, and we borrow from each other. They have stolen a lot from us. You know, it is our, in fact, everything is ours, okay, that you see in the world. But people have usurped other people's rights, you know. So we sit there and we think that, oh, that's how the world is supposed to be. But that's not how it's supposed to be. You can determine your own destiny, you know, by sticking with what you know. And, you know, that's why we have ancestral worship. We give them thanks and praises for setting the stage for us. As we go astray, sometimes we tend to blame them, or we tend to think that they were no good and all that, but that's rubbish, you know. We've been fed. You go to school and you become a different person from the people that you left. By the time you go back home, you look down and they look like bush people.
That is absolutely true.
They look like bush people, you know, and they don't use deodorant, so you think that you're better than them. You know, all kinds of stupidity, you know. But these things are affectations that have been brought to us to take our money away and to take our pride away, to undervalue our mentality to the extent that we give away our things for free. You know, they designed even religion. The instruction they gave to the priests before they came to Africa is to make them believe that their reward is in heaven. That it is very hard for a rich man to enter the gates of heaven. Right? Where's that coming from?
Let me ask you, what is high life music?
You've asked me a question. Well, it's very difficult to define. I've seen the musicians and their forum, and they're trying to define high life. I have a body called Highlife Institute. It's a charity thing, you know, meant to deepen, you know, the strengths of high life, you know. And one time I had a conference, a symposium, invited various people to try and work on a definition for high life, okay? And it went very, but subsequently I have rethought the whole thing. And even though some people define high life as a beat, you know, it's like batch, 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 or pa, 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 with the same thing. That is not, in my view now, it's not enough to define high life, okay? I think that when it comes to high life, you have to have certain other cultural aspects embedded, even in the melody and in the rendition. You understand? So otherwise, every song can be high life. Beyonce is doing that beat. You understand? So many people are using that beat. And it is such a magical beat that it can almost go with any music. You understand? That's why it's very easy for our people to embrace reggae and dance hall. And recently, you know, there was a big controversy about, what's his name, Shatawale, that he won High Life Track of the Year. People were just astounded, you know. But I think that there is confusion as to what really high life is. You can have an extension of high life, but that doesn't make it high life. You understand? Otherwise, we can never preserve any, you know, like foundational body for high life. Okay, because you can have high life, like high life burger, you know, high life funk. You can have high life anything you want.
High life jazz.
High life jazz, yeah, you know. But high life itself has to be preserved in a way that people can borrow from and create different flowers and colors. You understand?
Okay. Now, some months ago, I interviewed Zab Mallet, and I asked him about the fact that is he happy about the current crop of artists I mean, the high level that they are producing. And he also said that, I mean, music is so dynamic. And so when the system change, you might also change. So they might probably not go back to the days where you guys were doing it, but they can still do something and change it. Do you still agree? Do you also bear with him?
Well, that's exactly what I've been echoing here. But I'm saying that even though things change because there are different creations from the mother lobe, which is Highlife, it is important to preserve that Highlife and the sources. So I think that Highlife should be more organic and less synthetic. You understand? I think we should use more indigenous instruments, indigenous expressions, so that, the creativity, is pronounced instead of just, taking a bit of it and then creating something else totally, unrelated. That is okay, but you have to have the source.
Now, when you on your radio and you are listening to music or your TV, are you happy or are you satisfied with the music you hear these days on radio?
Some of them, invariably, there's a lot of them that's rubbish, and there's all this contrivance to push music because of business, And if you push any music long enough, people will appreciate it. But the deep ones endure, okay? We are in an era of disposable everything, including music. So people just churn out, and you find that there's too much formula work among the so-called latest Highlife artists. It's too much formula work.
So what do you mean by formula work?
Well, I'm saying that a lot of times when you hear the track, and they don't tell you the artist, you find it difficult to guess. You understand? I think that it started with Ebony. Ebony, to me, and I'm not saying that my view is sacrosanct, but she started this trend where they're using certain movements and rhythms in the Highlife, and everybody's doing that now. If you did listen carefully, you will see what I'm talking about. Okay, that's okay. That's like original guitar band Highlife was also the same. It was just three-quarter movements, but it's the rendition over it. It's how you express. Okay, and a lot of our music is about expression. It's about storytelling. It originated from there anyway.
Okay, so again, in recent times, can you take us through some of the songs that you really love, and if there's any artists that you really admire? I mean, the young guys.
Oh, I admire a lot of artists, yeah. I like Mr. Kyei. Some of his songs are very good. I like Eugene and Kiddy because, really it's the expressions they are making that is making the difference. It's not the
chord progression.
Yeah, it's not the melody. You understand? So, Kofi Kinata is one of my favorites because he always manages to create something extra out of the ordinary. And that's what, marks an artist out, that he's special or she's special. You understand? Some people have very, very good voices, but they can't express. It is...
Now, you mentioned, throughout like males, don't you admire any of the female artists?
Oh, I admire a lot of them. Yes, I do. Becca is one of my favorites. There are so many of them that I admire. I like Stephanie Benson, even though, her culture is a bit, out of Ghana a bit. But I think she's coming more and more home. If you listen to her latest songs, you see that it's getting back to the mother lobe.
Are we selling Ghana music to the world?
We should be. That should be our only business. Ghana music, Ghana is such a small market. Even if you compare to Nigeria, you see that we lack a market. Now, if we are not selling our music to the world, our music is not going to progress, first of all. And secondly, I think that the world is now ready for Highlife and African music. But it's those who fashion it properly who take the cake. You understand? So you have to have strong elements of Highlife, but also be able for it to be communicable to the world.
Now, are you a member of Musica and Gamro?
Yeah.
Do you think that they are working enough for the Ghanaian musician?
That's a big question. Musica, don't forget, Musica is a union, a trades union. So it is just there to cater for the interests of musicians, or its members, shall I say. And it's not a creative body in itself, okay? Now, Gamro is a different thing. Gamro is for collections. And the structures are just not there to be able to make the collections unless you get very radical. You know, you have to stop all the media from using music. Because, I mean, Musica has to control the rights of all music. I mean, Gamro, I mean, should control the rights, all music, whether made here or made outside. It should somehow filter through Musica. Okay, so that Gamro, so Gamro can say anytime there, don't use music on your program. Because there are laws. They're just being, trampled on. You understand? Well, you have to be strong. Because if you pussy foot, nothing gets done. Everybody say, oh, it's okay, today we'll take something small, take something, that's not the way it should be structured. So I think they are trying under very hard circumstances. But they could do better.
Have you received any royalties before?
Yes, I've been Ghana royalties. You run away. There's no structure to it. It's just, and even they don't really collect enough to pay royalties. So the government votes a certain amount, and then they try and divide it as fairly as possible. I don't know. I'm not going to fight with that. I would rather like to enhance them if I can.
What advice would you give to the young guys?
Well, I think that managing yourself and your money is very crucial. Managing yourself and your money. And you see, some people even treat it as if it's stealing at night. So, they just go on and on. But it's not like that. It will come to a time, you have your peaks and your troughs. That's the life of a musician. Sometimes you make good money. Sometimes you have a dry period. Especially when you're not producing a lot. You know what I mean? So you have to manage yourself and your finances properly. Remember that there'll come a time when you can't do anything. So you need something to fall back on. People have different plans. Maybe try and get a few buildings, you can rent some to take care of your old age. I don't know. It's different strokes.
Okay, so from now to December, do you have any plans of dropping any song?
Oh, yes. I have so many songs, I don't even know which one to drop. I'm always debating with myself.
How many times do you record in a week or in a month?
I don't work that way.
Okay.
When I get inspiration, I work on songs. When I'm ready, I go to. But it takes me a long time.
Okay.
I'm not this instant, disposable.
Take your time to cook it so that when it comes out.
Yeah. Hopefully it endures. Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't work by rota. Yeah.
So from now to December, you're going to drop a song.
Oh, definitely. In fact, I want to drop a song every quarter.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. I want to drop a song every quarter so that, it keeps things bubbling over. You understand? And also to show that there's still life in the old creator.
All right, nice. Before we go, your final message, your final words to everyone watching, Ghanaians who love you so much. You've paid your dues. You've worked for yourself and you are still working. What will you tell Ghanaians?
Well, I would tell Ghanaians that the most important thing is to be Ghanaian and African, and then reflect with pride the heritage that you've inherited. Look at all these years that people have been creating and forming a culture, it's not for nothing. A lot of the times we don't understand the traditional practices because we've been fed the idea that it is bush, it is fetish, it is backward, it is this and that and that and that. Not by ourselves, so but other people are telling us, and we are buying into that. We should stop that nonsense.
Now, Ronaldo or Messi?
Ronaldo.
Jollof or Wachi?
Jollof is the same thing. Look, let me tell you something about me. I'm not a fanatic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything goes.
No, so long as it's done well. You know what I mean? A great piece of Kyei, you know, with fish and gravy, it's fun, as good as any other food, you know. But it has to be tasty for me to enjoy it. I don't say that for me, all I want is Kyei. No, I can try everything, but you know, I love my traditional foods, you know, because they're very, very healthy. And a lot of the imported food is full of rubbish and pesticides anyway.
Okay, Sarkodie or Manifest?
They ask questions. They are different. They are so different.
Mr. Ben is spoiling the fun.
No, you are spoiling my fun. You're asking me. It's like you say I should choose between Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder. Oh, what am I going to tell? I love both of them. I think Manifest is great, but I think his line is a bit different. He tries to go deep into the culture and also express, you know, sentiments about very important issues. Sometimes entertainment is just left to be just fun. Okay, entertainment has to be fun, but it has to have artists are people who reflect society to themselves, so that people can begin to be pensive and look at things and, you know, think about stuff. Entertainment, clever words, and, you know, volume of production. I think Sarkodie takes the biscuit.
So what are you giving us? Are you giving us the toffee?
It's up to you.
All right, so that is where we bring the curtains down. My name is Kobby, and I want to say a very big thank you to Daddy. Thank you so much for having us.